All right, let's just jump right into it. AI is everywhere. I mean, you can't escape it. But if you're trying to run a business, that's kind of the problem, right? There's so much noise. So how do you cut through all that hype to figure out what's real, what's a distraction, and what can actually help your business? Well, that's exactly what we're going to break down today. And look, let's kick things off with a pretty stark warning from Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI. He's not exactly subtle here. The message is loud and clear. This isn't a wait and see kind of thing anymore. The danger of getting left in the dust by a leaner, meaner AI-powered competitor is very, very real. So you hear that, right? And your first thought is, okay, I get it. I need to do something. But then you open up your browser and bam, you are just flooded with a million different tools, flashy YouTube videos, and a ton of conflicting advice. It's completely overwhelming. So where on earth do you even begin? To make this concrete, let's zoom in on a perfect example of this whole hype cycle that's happening right now. It's a tool called ClawdBot. And if you've spent any time on YouTube or X lately, you've probably seen this thing blowing up. It's creating a massive frenzy and a serious case of tech FOMO. The promise of ClawdBot is exactly why everyone's going nuts for it. I mean, the idea is that it runs on your computer, not just somewhere in the cloud. It has memory, so it actually learns how you work. It can dig into your files and use your apps. You can command it from your phone using WhatsApp. And get this, it can supposedly even write its own code to improve itself over time. It sounds like the sci-fi personal assistant we've all been dreaming of. Okay, but here comes the reality check. For every video calling it a game changer, there's another, more skeptical take pointing out some pretty big problems. Giving an AI full-on access to your entire machine, that opens up some massive security questions. It can also be kind of flaky and unreliable. And the cost? Those API calls to the big AI models can rack up a huge bill. Fast. So it is definitely not the magic bullet it's hyped up to be. And that right there brings us to the most important point of this whole ClawdBot craze. Chasing after the latest viral tool, that's a trap. It's a distraction. The real opportunity isn't about finding one single piece of software that solves everything. It's about understanding the powerful idea that's working underneath all the hype. So if chasing shiny new tools is the wrong move, what's the right one? Well, the answer is to zoom out. Look beyond any one tool and instead focus on a much bigger, more powerful concept, AI agents. This right here is where the true sustainable advantage for your business is hiding. Now, this is a key term you're going to want to understand, an agentic workflow. Think of it this way. You take a powerful AI model, that's the brain. But a brain can't do much without hands and eyes, right? So you connect it to tools, things like access to the internet or your company's database. You give it memory and access to your data. Suddenly you have a system that can actually take action for you. It's like you've bought intelligence that you can point at any specific problem you have. It's the difference between asking an AI a question and having it just give you an answer versus having it go and complete a multi-step task on its own. That's the game changer. Now, I know that might sound a little abstract, so let's make it super concrete. We're going to look at a real-world case study of a product called Guest Chat. It's an AI concierge for hotels, and it's just a brilliant example of an agentic workflow in action. From the hotel guest's point of view, it couldn't be any easier. You show up at the hotel, you scan a QR code at the desk, and that's it. You now have a direct line to an expert concierge right on your phone. You can ask, what time does the pool close in Japanese? Or can I get a late checkout in German? And you'll get a perfect, instant answer in your own language, anytime, day or night. And this is where you see the win-win. For the guest, it's a huge upgrade. But just look at the value for the hotel. This system frees up the front desk staff from answering the same 20 questions 100 times a day. Now they can focus on guests with more complex issues. It cuts down on long lines in the lobby. And crucially, it becomes the single source of truth. If the restaurant menu changes, they update it in one place, and every guest immediately has the new info. It's solving a real, painful operational bottleneck. But here's where it gets really, really interesting. The real competitive advantage here doesn't just come from having an AI product. It comes from using that same AI thinking to build, market, and distribute the product. You end up creating this incredibly powerful business flywheel. So check this out. To sell Guest Chat, they built a marketing and sales engine out of AI agents. First, an AI agent goes out and finds thousands of potential hotels and their websites. Step 1. But that data is going to be messy. So in step 2, a second AI agent goes through that list, cleaning it up, correcting errors, and verifying everything. Then, for the final step, a custom system visits each hotel's website, figures out what makes it unique, and then sends a highly personalized, context-aware email at a massive scale. The whole engine is powered by a chain of these agentic workflows. And this is the core idea. Building a product is getting easier with AI, which means that marketing and distribution are actually getting harder and more competitive. The real, lasting edge comes from wiring this bot intelligence into every single part of your business, from how you find leads to how you talk to them to how you support your customers. That's how you build an advantage that compounds over time. Okay, so how do you take all this from just an interesting idea to something you can actually use? Let's talk about the practical steps to go from feeling overwhelmed by all this hype to feeling empowered to actually build something. Here's the key. Don't try to boil the ocean. Start small. Seriously, just build a simple AI assistant for your own company's website. Feed it your FAQ page and let it answer basic customer questions. The goal is just to get your hands dirty. You learn this stuff by doing, not by watching someone else do it. And once you understand the fundamentals of connecting an AI to your own data, you can scaffold that knowledge, building more and more advanced workflows piece by piece. And this brings us right back to where we started with ClawdBot. The hype around tools like that isn't something you should chase, but it is a valuable signal. It's a signpost showing you what's becoming possible. So use that hype as an indicator of where the tech is going, not as the final destination itself. So after all of this, it's pretty clear that the question is no longer if AI is going to affect your business. That ship has sailed. That's a given. The real question is something much more urgent and much more personal. Will you be the one to learn these principles and actively start shaping AI to create a real advantage for your business? Or are you going to wait on the sidelines for some new AI native competitor to come along and do it first? That's really the choice. And the window to make it is right now.